Maybe they take a week off and Miami steals it up in Buffalo. There's a lot of arguments you can make any of the ways.
Okay, it's January, Buffalo. They might be under 3 feet of snow. And last I saw, dolphins can't swim in snow.
Yeah. This is now the final version of 2020 of Coaching Cruise shows, as we've come to call it, the fifth quarter, where we talk about the weekend that was. And the weekend that was is more NFL getting ready for the playoff run than anything else, since it's about 48 hours past Christmas. We're still here. We took Christmas Day off, but Coaching Cruise show is back and big as life and twice as ugly. So we're going to talk NFL for starters. Our Mo Alley minute is more like a Mo Alley second. He had 1 target for 1 catch, but he got 20 yards out of it. And then the entire second half, Indianapolis decided to have Jersey Day in Pittsburgh and blew an enormous lead, and Pittsburgh actually won the division because of it. So we'll start with the AFC Wild Card race, and we'll work our way to the other side of the fence. And there's now 5 teams in contention for 4 spots if you include Tennessee with Indianapolis, with the winner of that still getting the AFC Championship. So next week, we got 10-win Miami is at Buffalo, 10-win Baltimore is at Cincinnati, 10-win Cleveland hosts Pittsburgh, 10-win Indianapolis is home to Jacksonville, and then you got 10-win. I'm assuming it's going to be 10-win. Tennessee is currently down 19-0.
Green Bay's kicking their ass in the snow, man.
So let's take that as a safe assumption that Tennessee will be 10 wins as well going into the final weekend. Only 3 of those teams will win the wild card. Either the Colts or the Titans are going to come out superior in the AFC South. So, Phil, if you want to rank them as you're most likely to make the playoffs, or who's the easiest to who you think's missing out, however you want to handle it. Let's start with you with the AFC side of things.
This is a tough one, but I think what we're going to be looking at is we're going to go with Cleveland, Tennessee, and the third one that's going to inch out over Miami. I think Baltimore's going to do it, man. So that'll be the third one. And that means Miami's on the outside looking in.
And that's because they're at Buffalo. So Buffalo's going to play to win then, is what you're saying.
I think Buffalo is going to play to win. They're too young to not be hungry and want to win every single stinking game.
I kind of feel the same way. Luke, what's your perspective real quick, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into it.
I think we can all unanimously agree that Kansas City has clinched the entire AFC 1 seed. I think Buffalo and Pittsburgh will win their own divisions after Pittsburgh's win over Indianapolis. I think that's going to put –
Well, they already all have, so all
exactly.
I've got is restate the obvious.
Okay. Okay, I'm building up.
Is it too late to place my bets on them to win?
Indianapolis is going to go downhill from here. I don't see them making the playoffs whatsoever. I see Miami pulling through. They are hot right now with Ryan Fitzmagic getting a huge face mask and still throwing it 40 yards downfield, 50 yards downfield to win that game. Baltimore is also red hot. They're going to make the playoffs. And if Cleveland can hold on just a little bit and beat out their Colts, I think Cleveland's going to finish in the 7th seed, unfortunately, with Tennessee winning the South.
Well, all right. So let me throw some stuff out in case you haven't looked yet. Jacksonville next week is at Indianapolis. Jacksonville's already clinched Trevor Lawrence. I think jerseys go on sale tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time.
Jacksonville might not even make the bus.
But so, yeah, and they've already clinched the one seed overall, shall we say. And like I said, tickets or jerseys for Trevor Lawrence go on sale at 8 a.m. starting tomorrow morning. Does Jacksonville, will they play? Because I believe fully, players play, coaches coach. It's the front office and the fans that tank.
I agree.
So
no, that's no doubt about that. And the coaches already have the moving vans ready to go because they all know that they're gone Monday morning.
So I don't see Indianapolis losing that game. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. If Cleveland has some wide receiver cores,
Are they coming back next week? I mean, are they
I
through their
don't know.
COVID protocol?
I don't know.
As of right now, yes.
But
Okay.
Pittsburgh finally learned how to play football for the first time in a month. And so now I'm like, well, maybe Pittsburgh needs the momentum game, and maybe Pittsburgh, and it's in Cleveland, as good a season as they had. Cleveland might be my outside looking in. Buffalo is pretty much locked in at the 2. Maybe they take a week off and Miami steals it up in Buffalo. There's a lot of arguments you can make any of the ways.
Okay, it's January, Buffalo. They might be under 3 feet of snow. And last I saw, Dolphins can't swim in snow.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Well,
Miami's hot. I don't care what you say.
Buffalo's cold, dude.
And this
I'm
team,
telling you.
Buffalo's on fire, and Baltimore is probably the most hottest team
Have
right
you
now.
ever been to Buffalo?
No.
You don't want to. Upstate New York is hell in the wintertime. I mean, it's like the Arctic Circle. You get off the bus coming from the warm hotel, you go to that stadium, you get off the bus, and you freeze your balls off. The only thing you want to do is to end that freaking game and get back on the bus and get the hell out of Buffalo.
I think it comes down to the Miami-Buffalo game and the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, and that's going to – both of those somehow, somewhere are going to decide who represents in the AFC Wild Card. And judging by my history of picks this year, I will be somebody's KOD. So I don't know if they want me picking for them.
So looking at it right now, there's a chance Cleveland and Pittsburgh can play again the very next week as the 2-seed, 7-seed matchup.
Possibly.
So they would play back-to-back.
And there's so many possibilities still. Let's move on to the NFC Wild Card side. You've got 3 teams, 2 spots. Rams, Bears, Cardinals. The Rams and Cardinals play, so the winner of that assumes 1 spot, possibly. But also based off of other factors, if the Bears beat Green Bay, which if Green Bay's got nothing to play for, that's a possibility, then the Bears are in the running as well. Those are your 3 teams for 2 spots. Again, you need some type of mathematic major to put up some huge metrics of the possibility realms. Luke, we'll start with you for the NFC. If you had to take one of them out, who are you taking out? Rams, Bears, or Cardinals?
Rams. As of like 10 minutes ago, Jared Goff just broke his thumb, and he will not play next week. His throwing hand. So they're already missing their starting quarterback. How good is Blake Bortles, and can they pull through? I do not see the Rams winning that game.
Phil?
You want me to decide which Rams team shows up. Who the hell knows? And which Aaron Murray's going to show up. Who the hell knows? That game could very well be -2 to -3. They would invent scores.
Well, Aaron Murray's the former Georgia quarterback, so it's good that you got college on your mind. I think you meant Kyler.
Him too. Shouldn't have had that 6-pack of beer after watching that Redskin game. Oh, wait, they don't play anymore either. That WTF team playing.
So,
is there a worse quarterback in the NFL than Dwayne Haskins?
And he skipped the press conference. He intentionally skipped the press conference.
What is he going to – I mean, literally, why not? What are you going to say? Yeah, I suck. I mean, basically, that's it. That's all he can say. He was horrible. That guy, there's not one quarterback in the NFL that's worse than him. They bring a guy in that they brought in off the street last week that had 2 drives and outperformed him easily.
Yeah,
the
rookie from ODU who's never thrown a pass in his life. And all of a sudden, if you put him in even at halftime, Redskins win that game.
If I quarterbacked the Redskins, we would have won that game. And that's no lie, because I wouldn't have fumbled and I wouldn't have thrown interceptions. I'd have been handing the damn ball off every play and then thrown some screen passes. There you go. We would have won. And then I would have kicked Steven Sims' ass for fumbling a punt in the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, that
And they,
opening score was the difference maker.
So,
Yeah.
who do y'all see winning the NFC East then?
Well, Washington travels to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's got nothing to play for. Dallas plays the Giants, and Dallas must win. My original pick at the very beginning of the season was Dallas winning. I might as well stick with my original pick just to say
that's not a bad pick. Dallas has the best team right now.
I agree. They're on their little mini hot streak. They were horrible, and they were the worst team in the NFC East, which is not saying much. Now they're coming back and pulling through. I think New York's going to come through with it. But we'll see.
You know, it'd be great. It would be great if Washington.
I'm gonna channel my inner Byron. It's gonna be Washington.
It would be everything great if Washington could win this. It would give Rivera Coach of the Year honors. He would win unanimous Coach of the Year honors. From a fan point of view and front office point of view, the worst thing Washington could do is beat Philadelphia.
That's true. Hey, look, if Washington wants to win, they need to go get Frank DeBoer, bring him in, let him be offensive coordinator, park the bus, let Chase Young score 6 points on his own, and we would win 6-3. There you go. It's done. Washington wins. We give the credit to Frank DeBoer and his bus parking defense and offense.
All right, so I was going to kind of bring this up at year end, but since we're talking about it, 2 of the 3 main categories of awards does Washington win: Coach of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Comeback Player of the Year.
And Comeback Player of the Year, which is now a top headliner award as well. Does Washington win 3 awards this year?
I think so. They should. Look, is there a worse quarterback? I mean, right now, literally, Washington has the worst quarterback in the NFL, period.
Absolutely.
On any us. They have the worst linebacking core in the NFL. No, that's hands down. The worst safeties in the NFL. Did you see Samuels carry that dude Reeves on his back for 35 yards? I mean, come on. So
And the worst team name in the league.
yeah, but it's growing on me. It's like mold. So it'll be fun.
Here. I'm not sure which one.
Exactly. So if you have no talent, period, and you're still winning, and they're competitive in every game, and that's Ron Rivera. That team didn't quit. The team didn't quit today. I mean,
No.
damn, Haskins completed more passes to white jerseys than he did red jerseys today. And that team still didn't quit and still would have won the game if at the end, I didn't even see that holding call where Thomas scored a touchdown. But they had a chance to win the damn game with an ODU quarterback that's never thrown a pass in the NFL playing 2 series. That's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
I let him start if Alex Smith can't go next week.
I wouldn't let Haskins back in my facility.
I would lock the doors, change the locks, tell him we have a bye week 17, send him to the strip club, whatever it takes.
I don't think you have to send him. He's there already. He had the limo pick him up. He Ubered.
Yeah.
So, but get back to the okay. I think as Byron would go, let's go with Washington winning the East. Let's go with the wild card. I think you go with the hot hand. The hot hand right now is the Bears. So the Bears get that last spot. And
Good for Arizona making it.
yeah, exactly.
The NFC goes through Green Bay, so it really doesn't matter. All roads go to Green Bay. It's the AFC that's going to be the real interesting battle because Kansas City had a look-ahead game and should have lost tonight.
It's against the Falcons. The Falcons can't win.
Well, Falcons.
They're going to give it away.
A field goal to send to overtime, and like you said, they gave it away. All right, let's move to college football. It's Florida Bowl season. We can nickel and dime the bowls, but we've done that on our YouTubes and other videos. I want to talk about the Final Four coming up. Whether we agree with it or not, it's in place. We've done the what's wrong.
Did you just skip Coastal losing? Come on.
I may have covered them on their own separate segment. before tonight's official episode of the coaching.
Oh,
Cruise
this
Show
is the
podcast.
fifth quarter. We've got to talk about Coastal losing, man.
Well, let's talk about MAC officials then.
I agree.
Oh, they were horrible.
There were 4 game-changing no calls that all directly impacted the final score. And I could break down all 4 if you like. But even Grayson's interception, Isaiah Likely was tackled on before the ball even got to him. No coincidence, he was the intended receiver when the interception was made.
Yeah, but it's karma, man. BYU can make the same argument about Sunbelt officials. So it's what goes around comes around.
And look, Liberty had a lot of open field tackles. They were tackling, and so
They had a game plan. Hugh Freeze did a good job.
hey, listen, I have Malik Willis. You could see why
Best running back in the game.
You could see why SEC recruited him.
Yes, absolutely.
He
He is a
can't throw to
talent.
save his life, and he's
Nope.
proven that again.
He
Well,
can't.
he couldn't. He can't throw anywhere. But the
No.
thing is, he can run. And I mean, I don't know how Paul Johnson didn't get the guy to run the triple option for us.
And
Every-
Hugh Freeze played that game like PlayStation college football. Send everybody deep and let your quarterback run. Because all the defenders are 25 yards deep, and you get a free 15-yard scramble. And to no offense to Teddy Gallagher or any of them, they just weren't fast enough to keep up.
Every single third down, they did that. Every
And it worked.
single third down, and it did
They
work.
It worked. If it works, keep doing it. I mean, I don't want to. I won't pile on Coastal. I got to give credit to Hugh Freeze and Willis. That's who I got to give credit for. And then they had a game plan where you could tell Hugh Freeze has played against the triple option before, and they were able to slow down the triple option. I did think McCall looked pretty good throwing the ball. He did throw a couple picks, but he did look good slinging the ball around. So he did a good job. He kept them in the game. They could have almost won it.
And if I had to honestly rank the most exciting games as a fan, 2 of the 3 right now would be Coastal Carolina. Even in their loss, that was an exciting game.
It was. It really was.
And we'll talk about this maybe on the backside. But all in all, as far as fan excitement, it's been a down year for college football. As far as major upsets go, and maybe it's because of lack of fans, probably. So, but those semifinal games. This Friday is the Rose Bowl. It starts it off. So normally Alabama gets the geographical advantage, but the CFP committee and its infinite wisdom said, well, in theory, since Cowboy Stadium hosts more people, therefore you have the advantage since we're going to split the tickets 50-50 with you and Notre Dame. The line is basically a full 21. They're going to play in the Rose Bowl. And then in the second game, the Sugar Bowl, Clemson plays against Ohio State. And that's, again, about a 20-point spread as well. Is there any reasons why we should not already go ahead and say it's Clemson versus Alabama for the national championship, Part 5?
No, I think
COVID.
Go on.
No. COVID. That's the only thing that's going to keep Clemson and Alabama from doing it. It's COVID. If somebody screws up and gets nailed with COVID and has to set out the game, that could change the outlook of the game. But quite frankly, Clemson is head and shoulders better than Ohio State, and Alabama is head and shoulders better than Notre Dame.
So who pulls – I agree with you 100%. Who pulls through, Bama or Clemson? Last year was the first time ever since the college football playoff started a 1 seed has won the national championship with LSU. Is Alabama the second time ever being the 1 seed winning it? And every time Clemson has been the 2 seed, they've won it.
And we'll talk about this part in greater detail. I guess it would be next weekend's show. But right now, I'll take Clemson because I think coaching on the fly, Dabo is better than Saban as far as like in-game adjustments and stuff like that goes. And I just think
Dabo's got a better coaching staff than Saban has, because everybody worth their salt under Saban is head coach somewhere else. Period. So Saban keeps having to replenish his coaching staff every year, and he doesn't have that continuality that everybody else has. I mean, hell, I think our offensive line coach we stole from Saban at Georgia Tech. So people steal Saban's coaches. People aren't stealing Dabo's coaches yet. So their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators have been around for a while, and they have some. They just have some stability there in the staff.
Well, just for interest points, Notre Dame or Ohio State, does either of them cover the spread?
Ohio State.
And see, I was going to go the other way. I don't think Ohio – based on what I saw with Ohio State and Northwestern, Ohio State's going to get embarrassed. And that's my opinion. Because if the Justin Fields that played against Northwestern shows up against Clemson, it's over, man. It is absolutely over. Notre Dame won't quit. They've got a defense. And whether they can slow down Devonta Smith, I don't know about that. But I think they could at least maybe get some pressure on Jones. And I don't really think Alabama's defense is all that great. So I think that Notre Dame could probably score a few touchdowns on them.
Oh, I don't deny a few touchdowns, but will they give up 41 or 51?
I'd say yes on 41. It's a good possibility for 51, but I think that game is probably a 45-17 game.
I agree.
That Alabama-Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's going to keep it close. Halftime's going to come. Nick Saban's going to give Bama a wake-up call. Bama's going to show what true talent they have, and they're going to pull away in the second half, and it won't even be close.
I think Devonta Smith's going to take a punt back, and they'll boat race them after that.
And then our final segment of part one of our show, going to college basketball for about 2 minutes. Gonzaga played UVA this weekend. They've already beat up on Kansas. They already beat up on Auburn and a few other teams. UVA, yes, they were the national champions in 2019. 2020, while the season was going on, they were still top 10 line. Some people even had us a 1 seed. This year, they're clearly not as strong, but they are easily top 25. And Tony Bennett is still there, and that defense is still there. Yet Gonzaga put up 98 on UVA. And I have a master's degree from UVA. I root for UVA basketball. I have no shame in admitting that. You can play the homer card if you want. So was I surprised that Gonzaga won? No, not one bit. Am I absolutely shocked Gonzaga put up 98 like it was nothing on Virginia? Absolutely. It's Gonzaga, big drop, whoever you want, and probably Baylor at number 2, and then everybody else. And they also whooped up on Iowa earlier this year.
Yeah, they did. Number 1 versus number 2 players in NCAA, and Gonzaga didn't have a problem there. It's the depth that we've talked about off air. Gonzaga is just loaded. I mean, they're just loaded. What do they got? 8 solid players that have a real chance of playing in the NBA. I mean, that team's loaded.
And
they have 2 players who are averaging more than 20 points a game at every single game. That's insane. They're putting up numbers all the time, and they're getting all these rebounds too. Look at it. Half their players are averaging more than 5 rebounds a game and more than 6 or 7 steals a game. It's insane.
And I don't want to put this pressure on them, but looking out, they got one quote-unquote headline matchup left, and then they go to conference play. They win that, we could be talking about an undefeated season, and I don't want to go there just yet. But realistically, we're already in – it's time to start having that conversation. Do they run the table?
They can run the table, but we don't know what's going to happen since they're located out in the Northwest. Their governors out there in those states might just shut everything down, and their basketball season could be over. That's the only thing that's going to stop Gonzaga from going undefeated is politics.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule now. BYU is their toughest opponent for the rest of the season.
They'll kill everybody, including BYU.
And
BYU last year maybe could have put up numbers on them. BYU this year, no.
And is there a game on like random date like February 18th where Gonzaga is a pure just look ahead game? It's middle of winter. They have to go, like 1,000-mile trip because the Midwest is just so far sparsed out. Who knows? So they could have one loss easily in them, but it is what it is. All right, we're going to pause here, and when we